So for about 6 months, I pushed everybody away from me because all I was trying to do was get as jacked as possible, get as good grades as possible. I spent all my time on that. And in the process, I didn't put in any effort to try and be friends with anyone, or I put in a small amount of effort, but I never really tried to reach out to people, genuinely build good connections. I didn't put in any effort really. And a huge result of that caused a lot of people to not like me. And one guy in specific made my life as bad as possible. And so after a while, since I was a self-aware guy, I thought, oh, it must mean that people don't like me. And you see, the thing is, after I thought that, because it's a logical thing to think, people are being mean to me, oh, it's because there's something wrong with me. Then after a while, I started to assume that whenever I would speak to anybody, that they didn't like me in the first place. I would start assuming, oh, they didn't like me. And I actually got a lot worse socially. It was a lot harder to speak to people than even during the time when everybody was making fun of me. Before it got super bad, before that went on for long enough, I never viewed myself as somebody who struggled to make friends. But once I did, everything started to go downhill. I think that being self-aware will ruin your life if you don't know these two things. If you got to follow this process, or this is the process that I followed that really helped me. And I'll share that with you in a second. But before I get into that, click the subscribe button and follow my Instagram. The link's in the description. There was one of these guys in this original story, the one who disliked me the most. A lot of the time he would make fun of me for like my physique. He'd make fun of me for putting in a lot of effort in the gym, but still being out of shape. And see, the thing is, he was picking on something about myself I was sensitive about. But this really fucking infuriated me. And every time he did this, it gave me this anger. And when I felt angry, when I would go to the gym, I would push a lot harder. He would be in my mind a lot, especially when I would go to the gym. Because I was thinking, I got to push hard. I need to prove this guy wrong. I kept thinking that. And I learned that only when you get mad at something can you really make any progress with yourself. If you're going to be self-aware about certain things, that's all right. But for example, if I was going to be self-aware about me struggling to meet people, that's all right. But I need to at least be mad that that's the situation. I need to be mad. The first step is to be angry that that's the situation you're in. Otherwise, you're going to just keep going on with your life and making zero action and changing nothing. Now, the second thing that I did, once I had finally understood this is the important step. The first step, it doesn't mean anything if you don't follow the second step. And I want to explain it to you and how I went through it with a story. For a long time, even after I thought there was a problem with me, people at my school didn't really like me. I had friends. It got better, I'd improved, but it was slowly, I was still improving. I was still getting over the insecurity that had been planted into my mind because of my self-awareness that maybe people don't like me because there's something wrong with me. But this infuriated me that this was the situation and I wanted to change it. And in my mind, I thought, no, I actually am a nice person. I actually am a friendly guy. I have a lot of valuable lessons to learn about how I dealt with this and still made good friends. Still had an amazing social experience, just not at that school. Even after going through this poor social experience where people made fun of me. And I built up the courage to start a YouTube channel. And I started making videos. And you see, the thing is, a lot of people at my school might have said, oh, he's being delusional. He can't talk about social skills. He doesn't have any eligibility. And honestly, to them, they are rightful for thinking that. Because, well, first of all, they didn't see the successful social experiences I've had outside of that school. And at that time, I hadn't completely brought the social experience and the improved personality that I had from there to this school. Because I hadn't fully gotten over my insecurity and my self-awareness that people at this school might not like me. But I put myself out there anyways. And in the process, when I started talking about this, at first a couple of people made fun of me. But after a while, I found that when the school finally found my channel, people actually started to respect me more and like me more. That they finally got to see this other side of me. And one day I was sitting with my friend and he said, yo bro, look, I think you've changed. And the context to this is that he knows everything I'd been through. And I told him one day that, oh man, I'm not gonna lie, it still feels like people don't really like me. He said to me after I said that, you've changed. You're a new person. You need to wipe that entire mentality out of your mind. You need to forget that people didn't like you in the past because you're not the same person anymore. And he said, this is the new Finn. And when I had his confidence, way more confidence in myself, it came from him, but it internalized inside myself and I started to do a lot better. And then I started to upload videos more. I felt better about myself. And I felt like I actually had a reason to be talking. I actually felt like I was eligible to make these videos. Now, the whole point that I want to share with this story is that if you just put yourself out there, if you do something, even though you feel like your self-awareness is going to be telling you, oh, no, I probably shouldn't be doing this thing. I probably, like, for example, my YouTube channel, oh, I probably shouldn't be talking about this topic. But I think that if you can ignore your self-awareness, if you can ignore it and actually understand it might be something that's bad for you, then in my situation, people started treating me better because I had managed to move on from it. I'd managed to forget what had happened. If you're delusional enough to think that things can change, then it's actually not delusional. Once you believe that something is possible, it's no longer delusional. Once you believe something is possible and that you can do it and you actually start moving towards it, it seems delusional up until the point you have that certain thing. It seemed delusional for me to make YouTube videos talking about how I have good social skills until people at my school started respecting my videos and complimenting me on it. Even at the point when that was happening, I still felt like, oh, maybe I'm not eligible. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about this topic. And that's something called imposter syndrome. If you can just ignore it, understand that it's a normal part of human actions, that you're always going to feel like you're not, even when you become successful, you're always going to feel like you don't deserve it. If you can understand that and move forward anyways, you can make amazing progress in your life. Thank you for watching this video, bro. I hope you enjoyed. Click the subscribe button, click the link in the description and follow me on Instagram.